Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Leo February 2018 horoscope forecast, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first off is as far as February goes, the sun will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So for Leo at this time, there could be a very strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention put into perhaps freedom and independence in their relationships. It could even be in a business partnership. So Leo might be trying to free themselves or extricate themselves strongly from perhaps a legal situation somehow. And this could also be about a strong focus and concentration of energy on relationships that might be very original. They might be unique. It could be with people that are in some Aquarius-like fields, such as aerospace, astrology, esoteric subjects, electronics, computers. Also, perhaps the expression of originality and ingenuity, perhaps with somebody that perhaps with their significant other, and perhaps just their important relationships in general. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as February goes, the sun will be in Pisces from the 18th until the 28th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo at this time. So for Leo, there could be a strong attention, concentration of energy and focus, perhaps put into idealism and compassion into those that they have an intimate or sexual relationship with. It could also be about a lot of this concentration of energy put into chaos and dealing with chaos and confusion in matters with taxes, with alimony, with inheritance, perhaps trying to sort through all of it. And the thing too is this could also be really about, Pisces energy can be somewhat malleable and sometimes a little overly adaptable, so to speak. So it's careful in this time for Leo that they're not trying to make some major change or transformation just to copy maybe what someone else is doing, and just because it worked for that person doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for them. Pisces energy can also be sometimes about over idealism. So those are some things, and that could also apply to what they might think they can do as far as making that major change or transformation or transition in one's life. So anyway, next thing up is the new moon will be in Aquarius on February 15th, so the 7th house will be highlighted and emphasized for Leo. So at this time for Leo, this could be about perhaps a new astrological, computer, electronics type partnership. It could be something that could be Aquarius-like. That could be a brand new partnership, or maybe Leo embarks on a new unusual relationship, and then sometimes it could be an odd or some unusual court battle that might come up very spontaneously and unpredictably. This could also be the beginning perhaps of a friendship with somebody that is in like a 7th house like profession, such as the law or legal field, or somebody connected with maybe a profession that has to do with negotiation or arbitration. In some cases, though, this could also be something like a new open adversary, someone that might, in some cases, could be an Aquarius, sun, moon, or ascendant, or somebody that simply embodies those characteristics, somebody that might be somewhat unorthodox, eccentric, unconventional, and might even be an innovator or inventor, somebody that just kind of goes, could be somebody like a maverick or someone that goes to the beat of their own drum, so to speak. Anyway, next thing up is as far as February goes, Mercury will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the 7th house, again, is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time for Leo, this could be about perhaps a lot of unusual communications with somebody they might be in a business partnership with, or even a significant, maybe with the significant other. It could be often a marriage partner, and a lot of original ideas, like communication of original and ingenious ideas with these people. This could also be about thinking outside the box, so to speak, in matters connected with legal issues as well. And it could be even in matters dealing with open adversaries. This could be also, Mercury, keep in mind, is not just about communication. It could also, it's also about short journeys. So this could be a time where you might be more involved with, short journeys in which you show a lot of this Aquarius selfless energy, so to speak, and really selfless short journeys that you're basically giving to others, really, and it might be just to others in general, people that you're in important relationships with, or a significant other, or maybe somebody that you're in a business partnership with. So it's really basically, you could be selfless giving, and doing so through maybe doing things, giving people, like giving them rides, to just to places that don't take you, that long to get to. So anyway, the next thing up is Mercury will be in Pisces as far as February goes, from the 18th until the 28th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. At this time for Leo needs to be very careful about being maybe deceived, deceptive communications, perhaps connected with somebody they're in an intimate or sexual relationship with. There might be a lot of mental confusion over 8th house matters, such as making a major change or transformation in one's life. It could be over taxes, insurance matters, even alimony in some cases. At the same time, this could be about also thinking very idealistically about making a major change or transformation in one's life. It could be also about perhaps somebody they're in an intimate relationship with, and maybe just giving that person more the benefit of the doubt, or somebody they're in a sexual relationship with, thinking very idealistically regarding that person. But at the same time, this is also could be a time where one might think a little bit more over idealistically, so to speak, and really might delude themselves into thinking they could do certain things that are 8th house related, such as matters, taking care of matters with taxes. It could be making a major change or transformation in one's life, perhaps doing things associated with shared resources that maybe they're not necessarily able to do. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, okay, Venus, as far as February goes, will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 10th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time for Leo, this could be about perhaps if Leo is unattached, this could be really a great time, perhaps, since you're talking about Venus, which is connected with relationships, and you're talking about the 7th house, which is associated with that as well. It could be a time where Leo may find somebody, if unattached, that could, in some cases, could be an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. In some unusual cases, it could be involved in something 7th house related, such as in a court situation, or it could be with somebody that might be in a legal profession, or somebody connected with arbitration, or that works with negotiation. And this could be somebody that might ultimately wind up being a marriage partner in some case. It could simply also be about the enjoyment of the unusual and the unorthodox, and things that are innovative, new technology, enjoyment of computers and electronics with a significant other. In some cases, too, this could also be about unanticipated spending that might come very spontaneously, or something that you really didn't anticipate and was very really not planned. I mean, Aquarius energy could be very unpredictable, and it could be where you might wind up having to spend something unpredictably or unexpectedly on a significant other in something related to a business partnership, or it could even be some legal fee that might come up unexpectedly. Anyway, next thing up is, well, Venus will be in Pisces as far as February goes from the 10th until the 28th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So for Leo at this time, well, this could be something very, some provocative role-playing, fantasy role-playing with the sexual partner. You're talking about the love of fantasy, and then the 8th house is sex, so you can pretty much do the math, people. Now, it could also be in some cases about unrealistic spending on 8th house matters. It could be matters related to something supernatural, the occult. It could be something astrological. Some cases it could be over maybe something perhaps connected with making some major change or transformation in one's life. And the thing about Venus and Pisces when this happens is that one can't really, needs to be careful about maybe who they give or lend their money to. And it's possible where one might be duped, in this case monetarily, by somebody that might be in an 8th house profession, such as psychology, the astrology, the occult. It could be a time where, like say, a phony psychic or somebody that might be a tarot reader that might be a fraud, or an astrologer that might be fraudulent, might be able to take advantage more as far as this energy goes. So, and Leo sometimes can be known for their gullibility anyway, so it's just something to look at as far as this goes. Now, anyway, next thing up is, well, Mars will still be in Sagittarius, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time for Leo, well, first thing up is that Leo might have more contentious and acrimonious situations, perhaps with children, with people, someone they might be in a romantic or love relationship with. It could be somebody that they share a hobby with, like a hobby partner, so to speak. And the arguments can be, and a lot of these arguments can be philosophical differences, since we're talking about Sagittarius. Also, this could be about, a lot of times when you have Mars in Sagittarius, this could be like using really your anger, your aggression toward maybe something sports or outdoors related. So this could be a time where one might go outside or take up some kind of sports or athletic, do something athletic, maybe doing something outdoors. And being in the 5th house, this could be, or we're talking about 5th house energy, I should say. This is about really enjoyment of this as well. And it could, and this could be about really, when you look at this too, it's important to be careful because, Mars can be about accidents, and you're talking about Sagittarius foolhardy energy, and accidents can occur perhaps doing something enjoyable that's outdoorsy, or it could be something connected with some kind of sport, something sports related, that could be very enjoyable at this time, but at the same time being maybe a little bit too foolhardy in those things as well. So it's really important to really be careful at this time as far as this energy goes. And anyway, well, next thing up is Jupiter will still be in Scorpio. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time for Leo, well, keep in mind that Jupiter, as I've stated a number of times previously, can be paradoxical. It's very benign and benevolent, but it could also be about expanding energy. And this could expand surreptitious and sometimes even nefarious activity in matters that are home related at this time, or maybe just with family members. At the same time, this could be about this could be very fortuitous, and one could have a lot of luck and fortune in this this time, for perhaps in making some transformation of their home life, whether it's moving or just making just general modifications and renovations on their home. And it could be really about creating one's own luck by digging deep into maybe things associated with their roots at this time, and really about taking care of really maybe finding out things that are digging deep and getting into mysteries regarding something associated with their home and with their family. So anyway, and well, the next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn. So the 6 houses will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo at this time. So for Leo at this time, well, I mean, first off, is there can be Leo might experience some restrictions and limitations associated with their employment, with their health, maybe even with their daily routine. Maybe they feel in some cases they're hindered in what they had been doing as far as their daily routine goes. It could be something health related, and in which could cause this Capricorn like perhaps despondency and feeling melancholy as well. This could, I mean, with these possible limitations and restrictions in health, it could be Capricorn related. It could be something connected with the knees, perhaps. It could be with the bones. Something that could be Capricorn related at this time is what could be is what is a possible debilitation. At the same time, this could be about where Leo might really, it's about a strong period perhaps of serious responsibility in one's work life, and also in taking care of one's health as well at this time. So, and it could also be where Leo might be taking care of somebody that might be debilitated, that might be in their daily routine, or it could be someone prominent perhaps in their work life and in their place of employment perhaps. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, well, Uranus will still be in Aries, of course. So the 9th houses will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo at this time. So for Leo at this time, well, for one thing, it could be where they might be experiencing some unpredictable and sometimes even bizarre behavior, perhaps from an in-law or grandchildren, if applicable. Also, this could be a time, too, where Leo might take up some kind of college course or something associated with higher education that might be connected with computers, electronics, and esoteric subjects such as astrology. Something where they might, just something Uranus-like in general that they could be doing at this time. And I think really about things connected with innovation might really impact maybe even their philosophical outlook, so to speak, at this time, and really maybe thinking outside the box, so to speak. And anyway, another thing too is that this is also, I mean, when you look at Uranus and you're talking about the 9th house, this could be a time where maybe one might rebel from some conventional religious belief at this time. There might be also, I mean, there might be some unanticipated maybe long distance journeys that Leo might take at this time as well, ones that can be completely unplanned and not premeditated. So anyway, well, next thing up is that Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the 8th houses will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo at this time. So for Leo at this time, well, the first thing up is that, I mean, in some cases, this could be, I mean, if Leo is in an older age especially, this could be about some dissipation, even dissolving of perhaps maybe the sexual urge to some degree. At the same time, I mean, remember that this is, I mean, 8th house is about surgery, so there can be some confusion and ambivalence in these matters at this time, and maybe Leo is unclear whether there should be a surgical procedure done or not on something. Now, another thing too is that this Neptune, and you're talking 8th house energy, that Leo could be a little bit more susceptible to credit card fraud, since credit cards are associated with the 8th, and Neptune, of course, is about deception, so you can do the math, so to speak. And at the same time, there may also be where if Leo's trying to make some major change or transformation, this could be some confusion, some ambivalence as far as this goes at this time. And it might be more where Leo might be more fantasizing about it rather than actually doing something about it as far as that goes. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo at this time. So at this time for Leo, well, in some cases this could be about some obliteration or simple destruction of one's employment. It could be a transformation in one's health at this time. People don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but of course I always do because it is connected with Pluto and I feel it must be talked about. So anyway, in some instances this could be about the death of perhaps somebody that might figure prominently in one's daily routine. It could be maybe somebody that might be maybe figure prominently in Leo's health. It could be maybe a physician of some kind of fitness instructor. And also Leo needs to be careful of perhaps obsessive and compulsive tendencies at this time, and that kind of behavior. When you're talking about Pluto in the 6th house, this could really often strongly go hand in hand, I believe. So anyway, in looking at this as well, you look at this, and sometimes it could even be the death of a pet. In some cases, if Leo does have one during this time, you're talking about Pluto and the 6th house energy. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the North Node will still be in Leo. So the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo at this time. So at this time for Leo, keep in mind when you're talking about the North Node in transit, it's often about issues we have to confront in our life. So this could be about perhaps confronting some issues, maybe about connected with some negative characteristics of Leos. And we're talking about the 1st house. So in general, as far as their personality goes, maybe about being overly arrogant or flamboyant. Maybe sometimes it could just be simply being a little bit too generous, but at the same time, this could be about, where Leo is directed to at this time. And that could be about perhaps being more generous, more magnanimous, maybe toward oneself. And this could be as well, maybe just starting, it's about new beginnings as well, and doing so perhaps with that Leo-like self-assuredness and confidence. And maybe these new beginnings might require certain extravagance. It could also be about maybe dealing with people from the early childhood that might be a little bit overly arrogant and bombastic, and Leo might need maybe to be doing something about this. So anyway, next thing up is, well, the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time for Leo, this could be about perhaps this unveiling of maybe somebody in their work life, in their place of employment, that might come out, that might show some kind of ruthless and even tyrannical, over-ambitious qualities. Maybe somebody that just looking out for themselves and is not really that team player, so to speak. In some cases, this could be about maybe something gets leaked out. It's an unveiling that Leo doesn't want to come out. That might be pertaining to their health. It could be something dark, depressing to them. Maybe it's something Capricorn related, such as something with maybe the, like to say the lower legs, or something with the knees. something that they don't want, something Capricorn related or with the bones that they just don't want unveiled, and it happens to come out. Now, and it could also be maybe something connected with their employment life that caused a lot of despondency, and it's a very depressing, at least how they see it, a very depressing situation in their work environment. So anyway, well, next thing up is, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time for Leo, this could be about, in some cases, I mean, Pisces energy sadly can sometimes be about gullibility and impressionability, and it might be where Leo might be doing some suffering as far as this goes. Maybe in matters, maybe when you're talking about this, the gullibility especially, it might be something over, or maybe they were duped from somebody in an 8th house profession, such as somebody like maybe a charlatan astrologer, or some tarot card reader that's actually a fraud, or just somebody with the occult supernatural that is saying, is really saying they have more credentials than they actually do, so to speak. In some cases too, this could be about maybe where Leo is suffering, dealing with maybe somebody they're in an intimate or sexual relationship with that might be succumbing to some kind of drugs or alcohol use, and also dealing maybe with confusing, confounding situations regarding their taxes and maybe even insurance, and or maybe suffering due to deluding oneself over what they were going to receive in an inheritance, and maybe they're dealing with something that to them might have been devastating, maybe for example, getting a lot less money and resources that they originally anticipated. So, and also in some cases it could be over maybe maybe succumbing to some kind of credit card fraud, because remember the 8th house is associated with credit cards, and you have Pisces, of course, is that deceptive energy. So anyway, well, keep in mind too, people, that Chiron is the wounded healer. So the areas that I just described with Chiron and Pisces in the 8th house that Leo is might be having difficulty with, they may be able to help others with, in doing so with a lot of that Pisces like compassion, empathy, and self-sacrifice. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Leo February 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Virgo February 2018 horoscope forecast. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.